last. That was the LA Times headline. Instead, what they say at the LA Times is California is going to move to end personal belief exemptions at last. So you shouldn't have any exemptions for that. We've got Chris Cuomo, son of Mario Cuomo, on television, on CNN, saying our rights do not come from God. Obviously, he could care less what our founding principles were in this country, what our founding document said. Of course, the Declaration of Independence, which basically lays the fundamental theory of our government, says that, of course, all these rights do come from God. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. But he says, no, no, no. Our rights don't come from God, he said on CNN. He said, our laws come from collective agreement and compromise. This story that's on New American hits it on the head. They said he is confusing laws with rights. Our rights come from God. Our laws are made by men. And the point of the Declaration of Independence was to say that we create governments in order to protect those God-given individual rights. But we've lost sight of that. So we have a situation now where we've got the vast majority of the public clamoring to shut down informed consent over measles. This is not even Ebola. This is measles. People my age know that it was very, very common. It was not life-threatening, and yet we see the shrill cries. We see this woman in the story that was picked up by Kit Daniels last week. Here's the headline from Daily Mail. Mom's angry Facebook post lashing out at anti-vaxxers as her 15-day-old son's life hangs in the balance from measles. It sounds like he's got measles. He's critically ill. Guess what? He doesn't have measles. He had to wait a few more days to find out if he had measles. The 3-month quarantine that they've inflicted on him is up either today or tomorrow, depending on which news source you look at. But she writes this post with a lot of straw man attacks against people who don't give their informed consent. And she doesn't offer any reasons for it, just lashes out at them for the collective. This is what we're seeing over and over again. This is what we're seeing actually with the Keystone Project. We can talk about whether a pipeline is the safest way to transport crude oil. I think it probably is. Probably the safest and cheapest way to move that around. We can talk about whether or not it's going to increased pollution, as the environmentalists are concerned about, because the form of that oil, nevertheless, it's going to be refined either in the United States or it's going to be shipped across the ocean and refined in China. That's a net wash. But here's the crux for me. This is using eminent domain for a foreign corporation to take private property away from American citizens. Taking away private property from people who have had farms for over 100 years, in many cases in Nebraska, handing it to a TransCanada, Canadian multinational corporation that says, I want your property. And the government is coming in and giving them eminent domain status. This is what we see happening with the Keystone Project. It's absolutely wrong for the government then. There's no constitutional support for this. If we go back and we look at what happened in the Kelo case 10 years ago, that essentially began a precedent saying that one private company can take land from another private individual and say that it's in the greater public good. That is not what the Constitution says. The Constitution says that you must give compensation if you're taking it for public use. If private property is taken for public use, there has to be compensation. That is not what happened with Kelo. When the Supreme Court said that, they were wrong. They violated the Constitution. And it's about to go to an even worse level here, where you've got a foreign corporation coming in and taking that away from someone domestically. And of course, it's all about jobs, according to the Republicans. Whenever the Republicans start talking, or any party starts talking about how they are going to create jobs, watch your back. Governments don't create jobs. They create bureaucracies and they create regulations, but it's only by taking those regulations away that jobs are created. They're going to have about 40,000 jobs to build this pipeline, but once that's finished, it's going to be less than 100. We're going to live with the loss of private property rights long after the jobs of the Keystone Pipeline are gone. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's no secret that government and big business buy in bulk and get huge discounts not available to the little guy. Until now. Introducing a breakthrough crowd buying website where people can join together, buy in bulk, and get massive discounts on millions of popular products. It's TogetherSave.com. TogetherSave.com. You can save 20, 30, or even 50% off tablets, smartphones, cars, appliances, textbooks, sports equipment, video games, and much more. All with free delivery. Check it out. TogetherSave.com. Visit now and start group buying today at TogetherSave.com.
It's happening again. The feds are trying to ban your freedom to own body armor. In January, a newly introduced bill, H.R. 378, will take away your right to buy Level 3 and higher body armor. Cady Armor offers the most affordable Level 3 body armor packages on the market today. Protect yourself. Buy your body armor now before it's too late. Go to CadyArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com. Come and take it.
The month of February is all about Valentine's Day. Big heart-shaped boxes filled with delicious candy. What if we, the Patriots, hijacked Valentine's Day and instead made it about human liberty and individual empowerment? I'm all about human potential. I'm all about the individual being empowered. The establishment is the opposite. That's why they spike our water with fluoride and GMO, estrogen mimickers, and the rest of the garbage. InfoWars is striking back in the month of February with Human Empowerment Month. How we can come together and win the human race. And to celebrate the kickoff of Human Empowerment Month, we're slashing prices on InfoWarsLife.com products like Super Male and Super Female Vitality. The sale is only running for the month, 20% off, and there's a lot of other powerful specials at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWarsLife.com, celebrating human potential in the month of February. Visit InfoWarsLife.com to find this special and many others in the month of February. Again, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139.
As the New World Order continues to tighten its grip on every facet of our lives, we're all asking ourselves, how can we maintain our independence? The answer's clear. Get prepared, and get prepared now. The only question left is, where do we begin? My Patriot Supply is here to help. Call 1-800-847-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. And they'll even ship it out for free. Are you willing to rely on the government and FEMA? Call 1-800-274-3070 to get started with your 72-hour emergency food supply for only $10. You won't be able to find this deal online, and there's a strict limit of 4 per caller, so don't wait. Call 1-800-274-3070 today. That's 1-800-274-3070.
I am a 47-year-old female and had a heart attack in 2005. This is Alice from New Jersey. I still get angina, even with 4 stents. I was taking nitro 2 or 3 times a week. The very first day after taking Heart and Body Extract, the chest pain was gone. Now I don't wear a nitro patch.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
Hey, sorry I'm running late. I had to stop and get my vitamins for the month.
I got mine in the mail yesterday from DiscountNutritionShop.com, so I'm here, totally on time.
DiscountNutritionShop.com?
Yep, they're a lifesaver in more ways than one. They have all the nutritional supplements you need, the major brands you know, plus you can save up to 10%. Write down this number, 888-908-4548.
Huh?
888-908-4548, or just go to DiscountNutritionShop.com.
Another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing. I mean, nothing, honey, if it ain't free.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host today. Alex Jones will be joining us in the second hour, as will Joyce Riley. Alex will be interviewing Joyce Riley from the Power Hour at the noon hour if you're listening in the Central Time Zone, but it's going to be in about a half hour at the top of the hour. Now, I was talking just before we went to break about the erosions against individual rights, against informed consent, against private property. We see anchors on CNN, Chris Cuomo, saying, our rights don't come from God. Our rights come from the collective, from the laws that we pass. In other words, everything is prohibited unless expressly permitted. We determine what you're going to be able to do. We grant you privileges. You don't have rights that come from God. No, you're granted privileges from the government, from the collective. That's essentially what they're saying. And so we see others in the media, like the LA Times, applauding the new flexibility of Governor Jerry Brown in considering mandates. Do you see how they've turned that upside down? If you want to mandate medical treatment against people without their informed consent, which is what the Nuremberg Codes were set up for. The Nuremberg Codes established informed consent as the gold standard. I interviewed Jane Orient, MD, last week, and she was talking about how that is the essence of the doctor-patient relationship. But of course, we see that they're intruding with mandates like Obamacare onto that doctor-patient relationship. Third parties are coming in that have conflicts of interest, whether they want to sell us insurance or whether they want to sell us vaccines. We should be concerned about what the pharmaceutical companies are selling us. This goes beyond the science of whether vaccines are safe and effective. Of course, we are concerned about what they put into the vaccines in terms of preservatives, in terms of adjuvants, things that are designed to provoke the immune system, the number of vaccines that are given, the collective addition of these vaccines, giving multiple vaccines at the same time at an early age. All of these things are very different scientific question to whether or not vaccines by themselves, an individual vaccine that is clean, without preservatives, without adjuvants, that is given without a dozen other vaccines at the same time, those are separate issues. And of course, it comes to the integrity of the pharmaceutical companies and the FDA. Consider this article right here. The FDA doesn't even test the safety of genetically engineered food. This is from Washington's blog. USA Today reports, and they have a question and answer with the FDA over GMO foods. They say, does the FDA test these foods before they're allowed on the market? The answer is no. Instead, there is a voluntary consultation process. Genetically engineered foods are overseen by the FDA, but there is no approval process. Foods are presumed to be safe unless the FDA has evidence to the contrary, says Jeffy. The FDA, quote, has to show that there may be a problem with the food as opposed to the company needing to prove that it's safe to the FDA's satisfaction before it can get on the market. Hey, I would be fine with that if that was the way that government operated in every other respect. The only people who are presumed to be innocent, of course, are the multinational corporations that have captured the regulatory agencies. The rest of us, we have to apply for permission for everything that we do. You want to try to take some kind of a painkiller to help you if you're suffering from cancer? No, you have to get the FDA's permission for that. Or maybe the DEA, because we know that marijuana is very effective at stopping nausea, very effective at stopping pain, very effective at treating glaucoma. No, we can't have that because the government doesn't permit that. It's prohibited. Where did they get the authority for that? Where's the constitutional amendment for that? They had to have a constitutional amendment to prohibit alcohol and another one to make it legal again. They never passed a constitutional amendment that gave them a right to prohibit anything. But of course, the FDA acts the way that it should to the rest of us only when it comes to a giant corporation like Monsanto. I think it's very revealing. If we look at this article that came up, this is a transcript that I printed from NPR's Morning Edition. And they were talking about the fight between a couple of different plastics manufacturers. Of course, we all know that there's issues with BPA. We know that it has hormone-related health problems. As they point out, in large doses, in other words, if they put it in every kind of container that you eat or drink out of, which is what they do in America, BPA in large doses causes hormone-related health problems in animals. Yeah, like humans. But they don't want to say humans. They jump around that. And then they get into a back-and-forth competition with another company that came up with a competing product, Trident. We're going to talk about what they say about the scientific method, because it's very important in this debate about vaccines. Stay with us. We'll be right back.